In this video, I'm going to create the virtual machines from a company called DigitalOcean. They're just a virtual machine computer provider. And then once I have two virtual machines, I'm going to load up the UCD server and UCD agent Docker images on those so that I could use the UCD capabilities from that computer. So the first step is to go on to DigitalOcean, and you can see that they have a capability to use what they call SSH keys. So I'm going to follow the instructions here to generate an SSH RSA key pair and call it DigitalOcean. And the contents that DigitalOcean is going to use is in the digitalocean.pub file. That's the public one. The other one is private, and you want to keep it a secret on a computer that no one can get to. So I'm going to put it, just paste in that public information. And now I've got a key. And then now when I create a droplet, that's the virtual machine, I can use that key. Now I'm in Portland area, so I'm going to use San Francisco. Looks like it's the closest. I'm going to select from the Applications tab a Docker virtual machine. And then DigitalOcean, that's the key that I entered just a few moments ago. And the name of this virtual machine is going to be UCD server. So presto, now I've got a virtual machine called UCD server. And you can see some information about it. Well, my next step is going to be to load a Docker image on there, but I don't have a Docker image in a public repository. So what I'm going to do is pull the Docker image from my private repository, and then I'm going to push it to the IBM Container Service, ICS registry. It's a public registry, but it's private to just me or people who have the authentication key. So I've pulled the UCD server Docker. That's the UCD server image. Now I'm going to tag it so that I can put it onto the ICS registry. I'm going to need to log into that registry. This is the ICS registry I'm logging into. And notice I can log into it with the ICE command that's used to manipulate the ICS registry, or I could actually log in using the Docker login command as well, and I'll show that in a moment. So I've pushed the UCD server -docker image, and now I'm going to pull and push the UCD agent image. All right, bingo, they're ready to go. Well, let's use that droplet that was created a few moments ago. So there's the IP address that I need to get to it. I can use SSH and then use the -I switch and specify the private file, and now I'm logged in. So I've got to log in. I'm using that same key. Notice I'm using Docker login now. The username and the email address don't matter. So just choose any strings you want for those. Log into ICS. And now I'm going to pull down the images. Notice there's nothing special about the ICS registry, it just is a handy place to put these files. I said I was going to create two virtual machines. One of them was for the UCD server and the other one was for the UCD agent. So let me go ahead and make another one. Notice I'm just following the same steps. I'm using the same SSH keys, and now I've got a droplet specifically for the UCD agent. Notice it has a different IP address. Well, that's it. I've got two computers now, one for the server and one for the agent, and I'm ready to go.